pushed. The button's been pushed. It says we are live. You are live. It says in the middle of the screen, and it's done. And now it's counting up, and it's slightly intimidating. Let's get underway, shall we? All right. Hello, and welcome to Australian Transformers Weekly. We are bringing you Transformers news from around the world with Australian accents. This is episode 205. That's a lot of episodes. We are recording live on Thursday, November 28th, 2019. It's a bit of an unusual record night because, well, we've all been busy and there hasn't actually been that much news. So this week, we're going to be talking about some new Masterpiece Prime news. Optimus Prime himself is coming to Australia next year and another convention as well that I go to. And there's more Constructicons than you can form a Devastator with. All that and more is coming up after this. All right, I think that's enough time for the intro. Do you think that's enough time for the intro? I think it's enough time for the intro.
I think it's enough time for the intro, yeah.
All right. Thanks for joining us. I'm Jason. Joining me this week, we have Bradley coming to us all the way from Perth. How are you doing, Bradley?
I'm doing well, thank you, Jason, and it's great to be back. And I just noticed I'm huge compared to you two on the reshot, but that's cool.
Huge. He's huge.
Well, we're just focusing on the important things.
He's the biggest podcaster ever. He's the most vitally important part of the podcast. No, I'm
fake news.
I'm going to stop doing that. Yes, that is fake news. And coming to us from Adelaide. So we've got, I think there's one of us in each time zone. Oh, wait, no, there's no one in Queensland, but that's okay. That's actually 30 years ago. There's one of us in each national time zone. And Max coming to us from Adelaide. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you. It's been a hot minute since I was last on, but turns out that's what uni does to you at this point.
Turns out that our definition of hot minutes differ. It's been a long time.
Must be some Sydney term I'm not used to.
Yeah, it must be. Or vice versa. Yeah, no, it has been a while. You've been quite busy doing stuff.
Yeah, just study. Not much else really. But it is good to actually be back on the show and finally be done with uni for a year. So with any luck, not with any luck, but yes, I can actually consistently make it now, which is nice.
That's good. It is just in time for us to actually say that this is probably the last show for the year, but we will see how we go. Look, I'm going away next weekend. I'm actually off to Hong Kong. I'm hoping that I might find some Earthrise hanging around in Hong Kong. I'm going to be in China for a week, and then I'm off to London for Christmas. So if there is a podcast that goes on in the next few weeks, it will not be me hosting it. But that's no reason. There's no reason not to come along. There's no reason not to turn up, and no reason not to listen. So yeah, we'll see how we go.
It's a pretty good reason, though.
I mean, there's that. Bradley, what have you been up to? It's been a couple of weeks since you've been on. Actually, it's been a couple of episodes since you've been on. Sorry, it's been about a month. But yeah.
Yeah. Nothing too exciting, just generally adding to the collection and adding to the wish list as well.
I've been I've not been adding much to the collection in the last few weeks. Just I've been spending a lot of money on other things, and they're just starting to. All these other things are starting to just stack up, and I need to stop spending some money. My current project is I don't know if you can you can just see it on my. I think I've done the TV Weather Girl thing now as well. I've moved the middle shelf into place in the study, which means that I've got a little bit more space on the shelves behind me. But I've also like Max, I see you've got your IKEA Kallax shelf behind you. I've moved mine out of the study. I actually have an empty wall in the study at the moment, and I'm going to replace it with a Billy bookcase. Just more like the ones behind me because I appreciate the shallower depth. And so you've got quite a lot of shadow on your your
and it's not really good for actually displaying stuff.
It turns out. Yeah, turns out the old Kallax might not be the greatest for displaying things, at least in a room where the light comes at you from above, which most rooms do. So yeah, I will probably be updating some of the shelving arrangements in my room in the next probably in the next couple of months. We'll see how we go. Probably in the new year. I'm not going to bother doing it in the next week or so. But yeah, no. So I've been putting a lot of effort into just sort of trying to clean the place up because I'm going to be leaving and going away for Christmas and leaving my housemate in it. So, yeah. Should we talk a little bit about some Transformers?
I think we should.
Bit.
Yeah, right.
A little bit. Like there's some stuff to talk about, right? Like let's bring in the news bot and do that fancy split screen there. Look, isn't that fancy?
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So a couple of Australian stories a few Australian stories to head up this week. There's been new Siege figures discovered at Australian retail for the first time. Now, it's a little bit unusual. We've been lamenting the lack of Siege figures all over the country. Most of this year, we seem to get Wave 1 quite late. We got Wave 2 quite late, and then they've sort of been playing catch up. This one's quite interesting. So we have seen Spinister, and if I just hit the button there, Crosshairs. Now we've seen Spinister and Crosshairs, both deluxe figures in later Siege waves. They have turned up at Australian retail this week at Big W. Now, of course, Crosshairs is a repaint of Ironhide. You could also say he's a repaint of Ratchet, although we didn't get Ratchet officially in Australia.
Is he not also a slight remold with a new head?
Yes, he's definitely got a new head on him. Like Ratchet and Ironhide had, they're sort of very similar looking G1 heads with their paint job. But yes, no, Crosshairs definitely has a different head sculpt, and Spinister is a new mold. So we haven't seen his mold before in Siege. And we're not going to see it again. He might turn up again in Earthrise. We'll see how we go. They are at Big W stores, and I mentioned on Twitter that we're making up for. I mentioned on Twitter that we're making up for some of our early lacking in Siege, and Ryan Edmonds from the Action Figure Blues podcast responded and said, "Oh, but I've bought all of them at retail in Australia." Like, you're not in Sydney. So if you're in Sydney, like we were very, very poorly served for Wave 1 because it mostly went to Toy World stores, and we don't have that chain in Sydney. If you're in somewhere like Melbourne, then you may have actually seen the entire Siege range come out at various stores around you. But anyway, so these guys are new. They are deluxe figures, so they should be RRP of about $35. As always, don't pay $35 for them. Try to do a price match, especially this weekend. If you are watching the podcast live, which you're probably not anyway, but because no one knew we were actually doing it live tonight. But the Black Friday deals are starting this weekend, and they will usually go on for at least a few days, and there's Cyber Monday as well. So Black Friday is a sort of an American shopping thing that has come to Australia in recent years with a vengeance this year, I would say. And so there's a lot of companies doing Black Friday deals. Keep an eye out for some cheap Transformers deluxe figures and see if you can price match them. If you find a Big W that has these guys in stock, or just go and order them online. Like they'll probably be like 15 or 20% off on eBay or on Amazon if you play your cards right.
I should also say my friend actually sighted these guys on Monday at Maya store, and I'm kicking myself because I didn't get him to pick them up for me, and I called him up this morning, and she said they're all gone.
Yeah, surprise. So so that makes it they're at Maya and at Big W stores. So yeah,
yep,
get into those stores.
Definitely.
All right. The other thing that has come out in Australia this week is the reissue McDonald's Changeables toys.
Yeah.
Now, so these are not technically Transformers, but over the years, I believe it's well accepted that Transformers fans have adopted them as their own. McDonald's Changeables are basically some fast food items that look like they've been served by McDonald's, and they've been very popular over the years. They're not that hard to get a hold of. Like if you go to most Transformers meetups or Supernova or any shops like that, you'll probably find a bunch of them hanging around for a few dollars a piece. Now, McDonald's is feeling a little bit nostalgic about their Happy Meal toys this year, and so they've brought back either 15 or 16 of them. The numbers go up to 16, but we've not cited one of the numbers yet, I believe. And so two of them are changeables. The rest are things like My Little Pony and so on. they are not straight up reissues.
No, so, they are not.
The photo that we've got on screen here shows the new Changeables toy on the left and the old Changeables toy, of which it is claiming to be a reissue, on the right. So there's a few differences. The bun doesn't have the sesame seeds anymore, and all the cheese hanging off it is now lettuce. So the new Changeable is a
healthy option.
Much healthier. I've also just noticed that we've lost Max, so we'll see how we go.
He vanished a few minutes ago.
Yeah, he was having some internet issues. So the new Changeables toy is a lot healthier, and and it's a smoother bun, and it's actually quite different. We were sitting around comparing them over dinner the other night, and someone said it looked like a knockoff. Like a cheap and nasty knockoff, and it kind of does, right? Like, because it's not really much like the original toy at all, except for the fact that it shares the same transformation. So, like, who knows? We'll see. The other Changeable toy is technically one that I believe never actually got issued here in the first place, which is the Happy Meal box, which turns into a dinosaur. So technically, he's a Dinobot. Or maybe he's a Dino box. I don't know. Technically that one never came out in Australia, and so this is its apparently first issue. Although if you look at people's Changeable collections, they've got this one in there as well. I was just observing a photograph that we took at Melbourne Meetup a couple of years ago, where there was just a pile of Changeables all over the floor, and this guy was definitely in them. So, yeah.
I remember. I remember these guys in the early 90s, late 80s. I think there were three. There was the burger, French fries, and a drink.
There's there's a lot more than that. There's also you are right. There's definitely fries. I think there's about 5 or 6. I was at Michael Vella's house last week, and he actually had obtained from John Ryan as well, a friend of the show. He hasn't been on in a long time. But from John Ryan, Michael had obtained the Changeables display case, which had slots for like 6 or 7 or 8 Changeables in it. So there's definitely a lot of them around. Like, some of them could just be like redos over the years, but there's plenty of them.
Oh,
so if you do want to obtain a Changeable, they are number 1. Number 1 is the burger, and number 5 is the Happy Meal box. Now, those are the Changeables. There's up to 16 of them. So you can ask the staff for a particular number. And the best thing is that you don't actually have to go in and partake of a Happy Meal. You can actually just go in and ask the staff to buy a Happy Meal toy, and they are $2 each.
Oh, nice.
So if you want to do that, just ask them. You just say you'd like to buy toys number 1 and number 5, and you should be good to go.
How do these guys scale with bots? Has there been comparison?
They're probably maybe slightly larger than bots actually, but only very slightly. Like, they scale well with them. Like, you can certainly have Megatron eat a burger or something like that.
Lovely. Finally, after all these years, Megatron can have a burger.
Finally. I mean, look, that's it. I mean, it explains why he's so cranky all the time, right?
Oh, well, if I don't get my burger, I'm pretty cranky.
Yeah, no, so am I. All right, let's move on. We're going to talk about this man. You may have heard of this man. His name is Peter Cullen. He plays a character that you may have heard of.
Called the Predator.
Yeah, no, he's called Ironhide.
Oh, yes, of course. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Peter Cullen, very famous for voicing Ironhide. Strangely enough, Ironhide has proven so popular over the years that a new convention in Sydney in January 2020 is bringing Mr. Cullen to Sydney. Now, Brad says that he's returning to Australia. And speaking of returning, I'm just going to insert Max back into the stream. Welcome back, Max.
Hi. I didn't spend the past 5 minutes swearing at a computer.
Oh, you probably should have. You might have gotten back online faster.
No, I spent the past 5 minutes swearing at the NBN.
Yeah, fair enough.
Fair enough. Yeah.
So we were just commenting on how Peter Cullen is well known for playing Ironhide, and so Go Atomic is bringing the voice of Ironhide to Sydney in January 2020. And if you would like to maybe get your G1 Ironhide toy signed, you will be able to go along to the convention and purchase a token to meet him. Now, Go Atomic is a new convention. We actually don't have that much information on them. They appear to be run by a collectible store in Moore Park in Sydney called Goat Nation. And Goat Nation is located quite close to the venue for Go Atomic, which is the Horden Pavilion, which I'm happy about because it's actually a walking distance from my house for that weekend.
Oh. That's awfully convenient.
It is awful and convenient. It is awfully convenient. So yeah, look, I'm getting my chance to meet Peter Cullen. Now, this is not the only convention to announce Peter Cullen's attendance this week. The other one is TF Nation in Birmingham in August 2020, which I'll be gladly attending later in the year. So I might get a chance to meet Peter Cullen twice in 1 year. Now, it's not yet known. We've tried to get in contact with Goat Nation and sort of ask what their plans are. It's not yet known how much it will cost to see Peter Cullen. So I haven't bought tickets for the convention yet because I feel I don't want to buy tickets if there's a chance that I might not actually be able to purchase the they call them autograph tokens. And so the autograph token will cost, it will be a separate price to attending the convention. Now, I will just say also that the convention, for a brand new convention, like this is not Supernova and it is not Oz Comic Con, but for a brand new convention, these guys have got a really interesting guest list. They have Brad Dourif, who I believe Brad was in the A-Team back in the 80s, but he's also been a bit of a common guest in a lot of sci-fi shows. He was definitely in Babylon 5. He's been in Star Trek, and he's been in a lot of things since then. Brad Dourif is coming along, and Giancarlo Esposito is also coming along, and he's quite a big name in a lot of the sort of genre shows that I've watched over the years as well. So I think it seems to me that Go Atomic is actually shaping up to be quite the expo. And obviously, there'll be retailers selling things, and I suspect Goat Nation might be mainly gearing up to sell their own collectibles at the show as well. But that's a pretty impressive list of guests for a new convention.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, it's something that I'd never really heard about until it was an announcement, and for them to just sort of come in almost out of nowhere and put together a show seemingly of this caliber is really impressive.
Yeah, look, I'm going to be really interested to go along to the show and see what it's like and how it's run. It is we should actually say it is the 18th to the 19th of January in 2020. So it's kind of still on school holidays. There's, it's going to be probably a stinking hot day, I'm assuming, being in the middle of January. But yeah, really looking forward to meeting the man. And I don't know what to get him to sign, but I happen to have this sitting here. Let me just flip the camera over. I do happen to have a Transformers collection number 0 box sitting here, handily waiting me to pick it up and take it with me to the convention. So
nice.
Yeah.
Well, you're going to get him to sign your butt or something?
No.
Oh well.
Do you know why, Bradley?
Why?
Because I'm not you.
Oh wow.
All right, let's move on. We might even see if we can even get a recording of Peter Cullen saying something to greet us or something. That's probably illegal, but yeah. We'll see how we go.
Depends on how much money you slide him.
It does. So TF Nation. people are sort of like, oh, great, I get to go along and meet Peter Cullen. Like, TF Nation charges £75 for the entire weekend attending the convention, and normally under normal circumstances, you can just meet any guest you want. They don't charge for autographs. They don't charge for hugs or chats or anything like that. Cullen is going to be different though. So they will be selling. They'll be selling additional spots in queues and panels and things like that he's attending. And the most expensive thing, which I'll probably do because like I'm flying over to the other side of the planet to attend, is the leader pack, which is £220. Now that's 3 times the price of actually attending the convention. But you definitely get to meet Peter Cullen and get things signed, and you get reserved seating at the panels that he's going to be sitting on. So, like, I'm probably going to do that. I'm happy to do that, but I also wonder whether or not it might end up being. So I think Go Atomics tickets are. You know what? It's right here. Why don't we find out? There's a big button. There's a big button on the screen that says buy ticket. What can possibly go wrong?
Let's help Jason buy his holiday live on stream.
Yeah, like what can possibly go wrong? We've done this before. Okay.
Credit card info.
Yes. So the what are we looking at? So the combo weekend 2-day tickets, $55, right?
Mm-hmm.
Plus they have a dance party going on that night as well. So about $100 for the weekend and stuff. So like that's not going to include Peter Cullen. Like the token for Peter Cullen will probably be another $100 or $200, I suspect as well.
$50 flat.
$50, yeah. We will see. We'll see how we go. But either way, kudos to Goat Nation. I'll be going and wandering over and trying to have a chat with them and see how they're going to be running things. See what happens. They are nearby.
Anyway. I thought they would have had the token prices up by now for Peter Cullen.
See, this is what I find interesting is that TF Nation is not selling anything yet, but they've put the prices up for things.
Okay.
Goat Nation has put the ticket price up, but they've said that tokens will be on sale later or closer to the time. So we'll see.
Yeah.
But we'll be watching anxiously and probably attending. So if you're in Sydney or if you want to attend and you want to come visit Sydney, do let us know. We will probably arrange a Transformers meetup in the area soon, sometime after the convention as well.
Yeah, it'll definitely be cool to see how it all pans out.
Yeah, definitely. All right, let's move on to something else that's panning out, which is this mysterious thing that appeared on Big Bad Toy Store earlier this week. Coming soon, MP49 Black Convoy.
Nice.
So we've been wondering.
BBTS.
Sorry?
Said very little restraint from BBTS, but I suppose we all knew it was coming anyway.
So this is not the first time that BBTS has posted something like this with this official retailer logo in the middle saying, hey, this is coming soon, and naming it. The last one was Burning Convoy, which is not yet released but will be soon. And so they've got this sort of logo arrangement in the middle of the screen. It actually looks like the pins that they now give away with Masterpiece imports. MP49 Black Convoy. Is it going to be a straight up Black Nemesis repaint of MP44, or might it be a little like Bradley's just shaking his head? He's like, no, it's going to be a Nemesis.
What you're asking is Takara going to be creative in any way, shape, or form? And
hey, that's not fair. I mean, like MP44 is a thing of beauty.
Maybe not creative
at that price. It should be.
Yeah,
imaginative. We'll say instead.
Mm-hmm. So, is this going to be the straw that breaks the camel's back? MP44, very expensive, very good. many people, many people have purchased it grudgingly because they wanted that new Optimus Prime. Now, this one is not a 44B. It is its own number, which has people a little bit hopeful that maybe it'll be something a little bit more special or a little bit different. Personally, I think they're done with the letter modifications, and now the only modification they put on numbers is the plus version. And so, yeah, MP49 is probably just going to be a Nemesis repaint, I suspect. But it could be more.
Because it did get annoying, you have the Seekers listed as all subsets for same number.
Yeah, it's crazy.
If they stick to this change, it'll be really good.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, well, Black Convoy is just a Black Optimus Prime. It's not Nemesis Prime.
Well, so I mean, like usually
Nemesis Prime.
Yeah, so usually the Nemesis versions are Black Convoy in Japanese or Black whatever. So
okay.
Black Hot Rodders, like Black Rodimus or whatever like that. So like usually for the masterpieces, like the black version is the Nemesis version. But we'll see. We'll see how we go. No idea when anything is coming out for it, but apparently more information will be available on December the 5th. So keep an eye peeled on the interwebs on that day and see how you go.
Cool.
All right. Other than that, this week has actually seen the release of 2 Masterpiece figures, and this is really creepy as I open this because it just looks like I've opened a picture of a spider. So Masterpiece Bumblebee was delayed from a month or so ago, and he's made it out the same week as Black Arachnia. Now, we've got some hands-on photos for Black Arachnia here, but Masterpiece Bumblebee did not make the photo shoot.
Oh, well.
Now, so I've spoken with someone who has Black Arachnia, and they say that the legs can snap or can come out a little bit, but they're on ball joints and stuff, so they're easily reattached. That's better than them snapping off. But the transformation is quite straightforward and simple, and God, that thing looks creepy as fuck.
Yes, it does. It's because it's got that sort of organic, shiny look on the body of it. It just looks really, really gross. But yeah, so Masterpiece Black Arachnia is here. If you've ordered her from retailers, the orders should be shipping into Australia in the next week or so, and you should be able to get it then. Looks that spider just looks so real.
Yeah, and well, it doesn't look real because it's enormous and it has gold legs.
Yeah,
but it also looks kind of gross.
Yeah, kind of creepy.
If you just glanced at it, you wouldn't realize it's not real. Okay, maybe now you would, but yes.
Oh yeah, I mean, if you prank someone with that and put the spider mode on the wall, then you legally forfeit the right to own Black Arachnia because that shit's gonna get smashed.
Yeah, probably right. All right, so look, I'm really looking forward to adding her to the collection. I'm not really much of a Beast Wars fan, but I've been getting into the Beast Wars Masterpiece figures, so I'm happy for that.
Yeah, we still got to get you to watch the Beast Wars TV series, haven't we?
You probably don't, but yeah, that's fine.
Oh wow! So she's got the one-off shot with the golden eyes.
So do you guys have Bumblebee or Black Arachnia on order?
No, not me.
Sorry, Max. I've just realized that you fell out of it. I'm like, why is Max not answering? Oh, wait a minute.
He's not here.
I live in the first world country, apparently. I have neither on order. Not for lack of thinking that they look very good, because they both do look pretty good. It's just I have a Bumblebee and I'm trying to save money, so. It's not a knock on the figures, really.
No. I've been wanting to collect the Beast Wars Masterpiece figures because they look great, and I do like Beast Wars. It's just at the moment there's still too few to sort of start a collection because they all look. I think all the Masterpiece Beast Wars are the same scale, but they're still out of scale with the traditional Beast Wars toys like 20 years ago. So I've been looking at them quite closely. But at the same time, I haven't actually bought any of them yet.
the thing for me for Masterpiece Beast Wars is that it's a section of a franchise which I've got like no attachment to whatsoever, essentially. But I get so much of a kick out of watching the coverage of these figures when they come out, because the Masterpiece line in general is going in leaps and bounds nowadays. But Beast Wars just seems to be where they're really pushing it, and the stuff they've been able to pull off, just over the past few years of this line has been insane.
Yeah. So just looking at the moment, the stand with the web that you can attach it to, very, very, very impressive. Although I think
it comes with a stand.
It does, yes. It's part of the package.
It's sort of variable.
It's quite interesting. This photo set, the early photos were really, really good and high res and detailed and well lit. And you get to some of these, and this one, it's like they forgot to focus the camera.
Yeah,
that's actually just a shot of a 1990s Black Arachne figure for comparison.
Actually, I think I know what this is. I think this is actually a screen cap from a video.
I was going to say, if you color change that would be Nightbird, because it's with the blur, it looks like she's got a covered face, covered mouth.
Certainly could be, yes. All right, let's move on. Black Arachne will be here in a week or two, and in a little while, so will these guys. Studio Series 53 and 54, Mixmaster and Scavenger. We've got official photographs of them. It all starts fairly innocently enough with a fairly nice-looking truck mode for Mixmaster, but the wheels soon fall off as soon as he turns into a robot, and he looks like a Bayformers robot.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no.
Very I had the original Voyager from Revenge of the Fallen, and that was a triple changer. Is this still a triple changer?
I got no idea.
Yeah, that triple changer gimmicks that really screwed over that figure.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
What was his third mode?
It was like a cannon mode. Yeah. It just had like a little spring-loaded launcher, and it looked pretty cool. But this shot we're looking at now just looks weird. It's like you can't really tell where he ends and the display stand begins.
It just looks like he's sitting down chilling.
Yeah. It just looks very odd.
The design in and of itself, this particular one doesn't really lend itself to all that emotive for posing, I suppose you could say. It's just a weird lanky shaped thing.
Yeah.
And there's nothing especially wrong with that. It depends on your perspective, really. But it is what it is. But yeah, in this case, it does make it sort of hard to really convey much through posing.
Yeah, I look, we've talked about them a couple of times. I don't really care for the Revenge of the Fallen Devastator. I don't really care for the Studio Series ones. There's a couple more photos with Scavenger.
Excellent.
They are looking quite impressive compared to what's come before, but I just kind of I struggle to care. But
yeah, for me it is just movie Constructicons. Like,
yeah,
kind of like they were just wedged in there as an afterthought in Revenge of the Fallen. It's kind of like
and it's kind of a shame, but I think that's going to be a turn off for a lot of people. Even still 10 years down the track, people still really don't like that. But then you have this thing that's a big turn off for lots of people when clearly a lot of love has gone into producing these figures.
Yeah.
Look, they're gonna sell. They'll be fine. I think they'll be okay to make whatever they're expecting to make on sales, but just won't really love it. The one thing that I think these figures and these designs should actually get credit for is for not always just having a bipedal robot. Like we're looking at Scavenger, who he's a unicycle. And he just sort of moves around on one wheel with a couple of arms. But the thing is that by robbing him of his sort of bipedal form, we don't really have that much of a familiar look or anything to connect with the character on, or even fear the character, right? Like, he doesn't look fearsome. He's a Decepticon. He doesn't look fearsome or angry or nasty. It's just sort of like, what the fuck is that?
It does rob the figure of a lot of what it can do.
Yeah.
The Studio Series stuff, just standard bipedal form lends emotion to the posing, and this doesn't really. It's just you can move his arms and that's about it.
Yeah, that's right.
It's just like a static piece.
I don't think you can even make him stand up properly.
I had the Revenge of the Fallen of this guy, and you couldn't pose him. All you could do is just have him sort of standing with his hands like that, sitting, and then you had to sort of delicately balance him. So he'll be standing like that on his hands, sort of like inverse gorilla or something. And then you got his other tire on the ground, and then you just sort of have to put it on the shelf like that, and then just back away slowly. It doesn't lend himself to action shots.
No, I mean, like, you sort of can if you lean him on something, but yeah. Now, we talked about a couple of weeks ago how the prototype Devastator had shown up at a trade show, and it caused a little bit of a kerfuffle when it went around. Yeah. I got to say, it's looking much better in this case, in that, like, I'm at least aware of what it is.
So there's shapes you can identify here.
Yeah, so we're looking at Devastator as appeared at a Dutch comic convention last weekend, and so there's still a couple of bots in there that are prototypes, or some pieces that are prototypes in the combined form, but you can at least make out sort of like the arms and the legs on this one, and of course the sort of the giant face that will eat everything. But it still is not a shape that appeals to me. But I'm happy for it to appeal to someone. It will just never be my cup of tea.
I gotta admit,
I respect what it's doing, at least.
Yeah, when I saw pictures of this originally, the article, I legit thought they were trying to make a G2 Devastator.
Because of the giant, all the blue.
Yeah. And I was like, why the fuck would you do that to a Movieverse character?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's not like it can get much worse.
Well, it can.
Well,
third-party
let's look at the next photo.
Third-party companies will be coming out with a scrotum accessory.
Oh, God. I can't even respond to that as a joke.
I think Jason's trying to find that it's not there.
No, I know it's not there. But I just thought your joke was a load of balls. But yeah.
Oh God. It's a nap.
Yeah, fair enough. So yeah, look, feelings have not really changed on this. Like I said, not interested. Not going to pick any of them up. But yeah, sure. I mean, if you're in for it, you're probably going to enjoy the combined form anyway.
Yeah, but as someone that's not interested in the Studio Series line, this just looks like a huge hunk of plastic. And since I just pre-ordered Unicron from the 2021 release,
speaking of huge hunks of plastic,
yeah, I think I've got my huge hunk of plastic quota met, so I don't need to worry about this.
Fair enough too. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. That's sort of the end of the official news. We've got a couple of third-party stories to talk about. Iron Factory is about to bring their little exhaust character to market. It's pretty standard Iron Factory. At least he's got a better sort of more recognizable vehicle alt mode. A bunch of us at the Sydney meetup last week, we sort of all informally agreed that Iron Factory actually needs to sort of pick up their game compared to companies like New Age now. As you know, I'm very fond of my New Age Jazz. I've also got the Cosmos and their Megatron, and there's plenty of other figures that they've released as well that I'm thinking I may have to go and get. But Iron Factory often
the point where Iron Factory is falling behind. Like, that's not something you would have seen coming a few years back.
Like it is. No, you're right. But at the same time, Iron Factory is very samey. Like they don't always use the same quality plastic that other manufacturers do. Their plastic's always got quite sharp edges, very angular, and a very matte feel to it. And their joints are always very, very tight. And so, like, you really got to work their figures to sort of get them loose enough to pose properly. But I do find that they often I do find that they often just serve up the same thing. It's like, there's this is how we do legs, and like, we use the same sort of join here, and then we just alter the shape that's on it for the mold and things like that. They're very, very cookie cutter, but they often are sort of forced into using a Cybertronian mode as an alt mode. In this case, he's got an Earth mode an Earth vehicle alt mode, and so I think the alt mode is stronger for it, and I think his that's loading, and I think his robot mode looks quite well articulated, which is again normal for Iron Factory, but also because of the recognizable alt mode, I think that it's a bit of a bonus on there as well.
Yeah, these Iron Factory ones, I've seen video reviews for Iron Factory. Are they all like the same scale, like a deluxe?
Yes. They're smaller than a deluxe. They are essentially, like, people call them legend scale masterpieces, and I think that's not necessarily true given things that you sort of see New Age do in the medium, but they're very nicely detailed figures still, but like I said, I feel like they've been treading water for quite a while.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I'm just looking at that picture you just had with the hands. Looks like he might have interchangeable hands, which I think that's an Iron Factory.
It's very common with Iron Factory to give you sort of an outstretched, a point, and a normal fist to hold weapons as well.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, like you said, it's just like instead of paint by numbers, it's sort of transformed by numbers.
It's not necessarily transform. It's just like the thighs all look the same, and the thing that attaches the thighs to the lower leg always looks the same, and then like there's mold differences apart from that. And so, like, I often pick up an Iron Factory figure and just think, oh yeah, you look the same from one to the other, but maybe times they are changing. We'll see how we go. There's a couple of other third-party figures we're just going to have a look at quickly because, oh my god, like I really am over. I'm really over third-party Devastators. Oh, I'm over Devastators, and I'm over third-party Devastators from Revenge of the Fallen even more. So we're looking at Compressor, which is Revenge of the Fallen Overload. Now, this is from a company that I haven't really heard of before called Devil Savior. And you know what? That's actually quite impressive. Like, there's a lot of bits flying around there. I often find that third parties, I feel, avoid the movie figures because they don't really want to have to do the extra engineering for all the kibble. But this is very much a movieverse-esque figure, and no, it looks pretty good for it. So yeah,
looks very, very. Getting that into a vehicle mode will be very impressive engineering-wise.
Yeah, I mean, like,
this is the opening salvo from this company. Like, I don't think they've done anything before. So I mean, I'm assuming that the designer at least has some experience, but even so, this is looking very promising for a first product.
So I got to say, like you say, this is the opening salvo. This is DS03, which means there's 02 and 1, but I'm not sure that we've seen them. And the next
I think they're the other Devastator components that they're doing.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. So the other figure that they've got is called Landslip, and he's the Revenge of the Fallen Scrapper. Maybe we'll go for the actual sort of. I guess these. I guess these are photos of the prototype, but yeah.
Yeah, they got the stands and them. So is the combined form of these guys going to be called Troublemaker? Or is that just
maybe because Troublemaker was also on the on Compressor, the Overload. So yeah, it's a good eye. Maybe Troublemaker is the combined form of Devastator. I mean, you can sort of see how they arrive there, right?
Yeah, I would just love to hear Megatron say, "Form Troublemaker."
I want you to go and cause mischief.
Okay.
All right. Last story for tonight. We spoke a few weeks ago about the Generations 2020 book that's coming out. I don't know what I've managed to do there. That was not the button that I wanted to press. So the artwork for that that book has been revealed. No surprise with Unicron figuring very heavily into Hasbro and Takara's promotional efforts for the last few months. Unicron features heavily on the front cover of the book alongside the some other Siege figures, although that Optimus Prime is looking a little bit masterpiece-like. So this is it's a bit of a photo book. It does come out once a year, and the 2020 release is coming out in December. It's often a lot of very pretty photos. It is published by Hero X. I suspect that this year might be the first year that you might be able to actually sort of go out and buy this quite easily. There's a lot of advanced buzz on it this year, whereas in years gone by, like the book just sort of comes and goes, and no one really, well, not no one, but the people who might be interested in buying it, they never even know that it happened.
Are these the magazines that come with like a rare, not rare, but like a collectible toy, like a repaint, or is this a different magazine line?
No, so these are more of a catalog.
Oh, okay.
Like they're kind of like a catalog, but they're just nicely photographed toys. Obviously, they've got official access; it's officially licensed. So yeah,
they're looking like you can tell Siege Jetfire, Siege Omega. I'm kind of agree with you, MP44, but also maybe Earthrise Optimus, or is it too early?
Either one. I mean, it's the 2020 edition, so it probably would represent Earthrise, but yeah.
The chest area feels very MP44 to me. Beyond that, it just sort of feels like generic Optimus, really.
Yeah, true.
All right, that is it for the news. I don't actually have. I'm going to bring us out of news mode. I'm going to put us back. There we go, side by side. I don't actually have any new acquisitions. Like, not to show off, I do have the changeables number 1 and number 5, but I don't really feel the need for
show them.
I can't. They're in the other room.
Okay. Fair enough.
How are you guys going? Do you have any acquisitions to speak of?
I do indeed. Granted, despite the extended absence, it is just for one. However, got to save money around a place. But, you do have to treat yourself on occasion. And I have treated myself very much with the DX9 / Unique Toys.
It's Lahia.
I don't know how you're supposed to say it. But it's a...
you were very fond of the Black Mamba lockdown too, weren't you?
The Black Mamba one?
Yeah.
I didn't. No, I was pretty fond of the Unique Toys one.
Okay, yeah. Maybe it was Unique Toys. Perukil. Yeah, it wasn't Black Mamba. Right.
Perukil.
So yeah, like every time I know this is a different figure, but every time I see this, I see this like a very similar thing.
They are. This does feel in line with the previous Unique Toys releases. So Unique Toys, they've been going for those sort of later movie iterations of characters and really trying to hit those home. And I've got their Lockdown and their Prime already. This guy, those two figures that they've previously done, absolutely blew me away. Like two of the best pieces I've ever owned. This guy is, he doesn't have quite the same transformation magic as those other two. His transformation is good, but it's not incredible. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But what he does to make up for is being a lot more poseable than the other two. So, whereas the others were kind of limited in what they could achieve, this guy is basically figure arts poseable. He's got this massive, great range of motion. His hips there. He's got an ab crunch. All your standard, like all the ankle and wrist articulation you could want. So he's essentially going to be able to do whatever you want him to do, which is, while the transformation was a big selling point of the previous two figures, this guy does bring a lot to the table.
Yeah, right. Good.
And yeah, it's nice to have a proper representation of this character as opposed to what we got in the TLK toy line. And seeing how this line is progressing gets me very excited for their take on Megatron. That should be coming quite soon.
All right. Bradley.
Hello. I have a few.
I'm gonna say for time wise, let's pick two.
Two. I've only got three.
You said a few.
Okay. Well, I've got, of course, Siege Jetfire, who is.
I have realised I need to open my Jetfire. I have not yet.
You definitely need to. This toy is amazing, and he's a lot of fun. Bit fiddly to transform at first, but once you sort of understand how the engineering works, then it's a pretty easy transformation. And of course, can I get him? Yeah.
Wow. Okay, you've gone for the big bots.
Wow. Okay.
We are looking at Siege Jetfire. Not Jetfire. We're looking at Siege Omega Supreme in Bradley's hand. He doesn't actually fit in the camera frame.
No, it doesn't.
And having seen him on the table at dinner a couple of weekends ago as well, like he's really impressive. He's got impressive transformation. He doesn't really parts form very much. And yeah, no, it's very nice.
Yeah,
it's trying to make a Supreme, especially.
It's very difficult not to.
There we go. Yeah, a totally awesome figure. I've got the little buddy that he comes with. I think it's Countdown. I got him locked up in the leg there just because he's got.
Don't want to lose him.
No, well, yeah, don't want to lose him, and he's pretty unremarkable. But yeah, I'm really happy to have Omega Supreme. I've had G1 Omega, and I've got Year of the Snake Omega, which has since gone into storage since this guy arrived. And yeah, if you're a fan of G1 Omega Supreme, definitely, if you can, budget for him. Very recommended.
I did see a mention on Twitter this week that Omega Supreme actually does have light piping behind his eyes.
Yes, he does. He has where are we? So you can see this little slit here. That's the light piping there, and I don't know. Hang on. That probably won't work. No.
If you hold it behind his head, it should. Behind his head. Behind.
It's behind his head.
Like put it right behind his head. Like next, like touch his head. Yeah. Like that's pretty much kind of what you have to do. Like you can sort of see his eyes lighting up a little bit there. Yeah. Like actually touch it to his head. Not on top, behind it. For fuck's sake.
look how long.
Honestly, it's like working with children or animals.
It's like in the Late Show. Who is it? Anyway, so if you do get the the light piping to work and you're witnessing it in person, then you would swear that there were electronics in his head. That's how bright and how impressive the light piping is. So yeah, definitely worthy to be in your collection, especially if you like nipple missile pods. But I mean, who doesn't like nipple missile pods?
Yeah, I mean, sure. where have you been hiding those, baby?
Yeah, so yeah, that's
what was it? Yeah, how did I miss those?
But yeah, awesome toy, and yeah, back to you, Jason.
All right. Yeah, I got nothing. So just ignore me as far as acquisitions go this week. And look, I'll be back with a vengeance at some point. I'm hoping I'll find some cool stuff in Hong Kong, actually. And after Hong Kong, I'm spending a few weeks in London for Christmas, so I'll be hanging out with some of the locals and hopefully getting to go to some Transformers meetups over there. We'll see how we go.
Yeah, I'm hoping to get
someone go to Hong Kong and not come back with a suitcase of Transformers. So,
well, I got to bring the suitcase of Transformers to London as well, where it faces a child who's into Transformers. So, like, I kind of need to hide things very well if I do that. But we will see how we go. All right, before we go, it is that time of year. Since it's nearly December, the Christmas donation drive is on now. You can You can find a bunch of really, really great prizes, including a Masterpiece Black Arachnia, a pre-order. She's out now. You'll be able to get her pretty fast if you win her in the raffle. A Titan's Return Predaking, a Voyager Blitzwing, Voyager Octane, and Masterpiece Sunstorm and Acid Storm, the Toys R Us Hasbro exclusives, and a mint in box Fans Toys Sea Spray. So if you enjoy your time in TCCA's forums, listening to podcasts, etc., please do sling us $5 as a donation. It helps us do what we do. We go out to conventions, we set up tables, and we meet Transformers fans. That stuff is unfortunately not free, but yeah, if you enjoy your time here, please do support us. And just $5, just a $5 donation is enough to get you in the draw for one of those great prizes.
Nice.
All right, that is it. That's it for the show. It might be it for the year. We'll see how people's availability pans out over the next few weeks. But that's it.
Sometimes I would have
me.
one or two here and there. But we'll see what we can do.
Yeah, you might be able to slip an episode.
Depends
in
if
here.
Hasbro just turns around and drops Scorponok on us.
Well, hopefully they don't drop Scorponok on him. Hopefully they place him neatly on a table in front of you. See,
he would have passed fall tests.
Yes.
Just wear a hard hat and a hard hat.
Yeah. All right. So look, there may be another episode over the next couple of weeks. We'll see how we go. But in the meantime, thank you for listening. Whoever it is who's watching the live record, thank you for checking us out. You can find out more about these stories and more in the show notes posted to the Facebook page and the Podbean site. If you want to get in touch with us, and please do, because we do love listener feedback, we are in Transformers Collectors Club Australia on Facebook. That's the discussion group. You can find us in all of the general podcast feeds of choice. You can generally search for Australian Transformers Weekly, and you will find us. We are a production of Transformers Collectors Club Australia, a registered club in Victoria run by volunteers who donate their time and money to make the club better for everyone. We want to connect Transformers fans around the country, and we do it by engaging the collecting community, turning up to events, swap meets, and conventions, and generally talking about Transformers with people there. You can find out more information, including affordable yearly membership options, to show your support at transformerscca.com. Bradley, you are on Twitch. Would you like to read out your hilarious screen name?
I would love nothing more. It's at twitch.tv/groovyguy0069. Just look for the big pair of legs that are twitching.
Look for the big pair of legs with a joystick between them. That is... You can have that one.
Thank you.
That is it from us. Thanks for listening. And if this is the last show for the year, then Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to you and yours. And we will be back with more Transformers news next time.
Yeah, next time.
All right. Bye-bye.
Toodles.
Toodle Pipski.
Catch you later.
And there's Doug barking.
Right on cue.
Yeah.